At sunrise in Mongu, Nabiwa Imikendu wakes up on a patch of borrowed land. 6 months ago, he had a home, a yard, a life built over 50 years. Today, all that remains is a promise.
We appreciate the development that the UPN government is undertaking, more especially concerning the expansion of the airport, Mongu Airport. But the program is coming at a wrong time. When this program started, it was during the rain time, and the people couldn't do anything.
Imikendu is one of the dozens of residents displaced in 2026 for the expansion of Mongu Airport in an area called the Greenview, where more than 600 families have been affected. However, getting some of them to speak openly about their situation proved difficult, as many expected to be paid before discussing their experiences.
The period that we have been in these places, about 50 years, and somebody comes today and say, no, you should move out from here. I think that is very unfair. But as human beings have succumbed to the pressure by government, this is pressure because our stay here were already our homes, where we were even supposed to be buried. If you go around here, you'll find some graves, meaning people were ready to spend the whole entire life of their families on these lands. To make matters worse, during the time of UNIP, this airport was given some land in Kasima. During that time, the Ngambera was Honorable Mfaya Mumbuna. They met with the people and we discussed, and we reached the conclusion that the airport cannot move out people. Instead, they were given land at Kasima there. But today, see what has happened. We are in the code.
A government-backed infrastructure project promoted as a gateway to development in Western Province. But for the families who lived here, development came at a cost. In exchange, residents say they were promised compensation within 3 months. They vacated their homes. Some demolished their own houses. Others left behind fields, fruit trees, and businesses built over decades. According to Mr. Nabiwa Imikendu, he says there was no agreement that came into binding between the residents and government. It was just an order of move out, wait 3 months, receive compensation, but months later, that promise remains unfulfilled.
This has never been negotiated by both sides, but we were merely told government is doing this and you have to comply. Unfortunately, we had to comply. Complying where there is not even a single paper of agreement or some minutes written. Even to call it a gentleman's agreement would be wrong because we never said anything ourselves.
But then, what does the law say about this issue? The Zambia Land Alliance, through its director, Patrick Musole, responds.
When the developer wants to displace people, there should be consultation. There's a principle called free, prior, and informed consent, FP. This principle means that before people are displaced, before anything happens, people should be freely consulted. That's the free. Without coercion, without forcing, without intimidation, they should be freely consulted. People should have the right to agree, that's to consent or to reject. They should have that right.
Radio Liseli has reviewed testimonies from multiple affected households. All tell the same story. Compliance first, compensation later. But the latter has stretched into uncertainty.
We
waited from November to December last year, hoping that we would finally be compensated. But nothing was done. We were even asked to sign for the money, which we never received. And after signing, we continued waiting for a long time, expecting the payments to be made. But still, nothing happened. We later tried engaging with Permanent Secretary, who eventually called for a meeting. And during the meeting, we advised to open bank accounts so that the money could be deposited directly into those accounts. And up to now, we are still waiting for the money to be transferred, as promised during the discussion and through the forum that was created.
Under Zambian law, compulsory acquisition of land requires prompt and adequate compensation. It is not optional. It is a legal obligation. So what went wrong in Mongu? Or did the process stall somewhere in the system? Through my investigation on this matter, I engaged the Zambia Land Alliance through their director, Patrick Musole, who now explains on the policy of a displacement and how residents are supposed to be compensated.
Before any work begins on the land, the affected communities or individuals must be compensated. And there are different forms of compensation. There is what we call land for land. What that means is if someone was sitting on 1 hectare of land, they need to be given an additional 1 hectare of land or another hectare of land to replace what they are leaving behind. Now you remember that where they were sitting, they had cleared that land, they had built some structures, they had planted some crops and so forth. So giving them land alone is not enough because they'll need to go and clear that land. They need to go and build the structures to replace what they've left behind. So usually in that case, it is the land for land. On top of land, they need to be given cash, the value of the structures they've left behind, or plants, or crops, and everything that they're leaving behind.
Residents have taken their concerns to the Provincial Administration Office. They are demanding answers, but the answers have been slow, with full of promises. And in some cases, absent. I engaged the provincial administration through the chairperson of the committee in charge of the displaced families at Mongu Airport, Mr. Richard Mulwanda, who now explains.
Government wishes to run a project, put up infrastructure that will make our Mongu Airport meet international standards. As you may be aware, that government is a parent. And instead of just moving people, government made this very difficult decision that we compensate everyone affected. And all the 643 persons affected will actually be compensated. We have the figures, and we invited all of them individually to come and confirm what amount they will get paid. And we are going to pay these individuals in full and not in bits.
The airport project itself falls under the mandate of the Zambia Airports Corporation Limited, a state-owned company responsible for airport infrastructure across the country. We asked where funds are allocated for compensation. If so, when were they dispersed? And why have residents not been paid?
So I wish to indicate that Minister of Finance, through Minister of Transport and Logistics, they have actually reached a first tranche of funds. So the first tranche is in the tune of 67.5 million kwacha, and that will help us attend to the first beneficiaries. And how do we progress? As a committee, we actually agreed that we look at the 3 categories. The first category are those that are 1 million and above. Then the second category is between 500,000 and 1 million. Then the third category are less than 500,000. And I believe that as guided that we are supposed to pay in full. Or these that are going to get the monies, which we hope that by the end of next week, Friday, at least we will have made some payment to these beneficiaries. So we will be in a position to cater for a specific number, which I think will be known after our Department of Finance has concluded the compilation.
At the time of broadcast, officials say the project is progressing. Residents say they have been left behind. Development is visible, but compensation is not.
We know it is development, yes, to expand the airport. But we are also human beings. Now look, where do you think I'll get a place like this one? Bigger as it is. I won't find it. Now I'll be compelled to stay in a shanty compound, my life won't be the same.
Initial reports by Oblet Radio Liseli brought the issue into the public spotlight. But years later, the situation remains largely unchanged. There are no clear timeline, no full accountability, and no resolution. Like it has been indicated, there was no documentation that has been done, as the Zambia Airports Corporation officers only evaluated the properties on this piece of land at Greenview in Mongu by the visibility of their eyes without entering even in the houses.
The evaluations that were undertaken, they have undervalued our properties. According to agriculture, a cashew nut tree, is worth about $500,000.
Government sent experienced team of evaluators who did the evaluation, and the report was compiled, shared with us here, and we submitted to Cabinet Office for support. And luckily, the report was very comprehensive and it was approved.
Inasmuch as we have received this explanation from the Deputy Permanent Secretary, who is the chairperson of the committee in charge of the displaced families, we have more from the policy from Land Alliance on the evaluation of properties.
From our observation, government has not been good at following their own policy, DCN policy. So we are not privy to the details that are happening that side, but the value of the structures they left behind, or plants, or crops, and everything that they are leaving behind. Those things need to be valued by a qualified valuer, so that the value of that replacement value of what they're leaving behind is given to them. So usually it is land for land, but cash on top of the land.
As Zambia pushes forward with infrastructure development, the situation in Mongu raises a critical question. Can development be called progress when those displaced are left waiting? For Oblet Radio Liseli, I am Mastumbe Kwaskuka.